Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome to the 11th video of the Golang and Csrf token project series. In this video, I want to take care of the store refresh token function, delete refresh token function, and the check refresh token functions in the database.go file. Now, as you know that we're not using a real database here. We're just using like maps to store some data. So think of this as a users collection and refresh tokens collection if we were using a MongoDB or users table and refresh tokens table if we were using an SQL related database. Okay. So for the store refresh token function, all we are going to do essentially is going to store something in this variable, refresh tokens variable. All right. And this function is supposed to return JTI or an error. So what you'll do is you'll say random strings dot generate random string. As you can see, generate random string is becoming quite an important function out here, right? And after you get that random string generated, you're going to store that in a variable called JTI. And obviously, whenever you call a function like this, you might encounter an error, and that's what you want to check for out here. So if error is not equal to nil, you want to return JTI or error, which is basically the random string. You want to return that. And we want to check if that JTI is unique or not. So what you want to do is you want to say for refresh tokens. Refresh tokens is the map, so we want to run a loop over that complete map. Okay. Is not equal to an empty string. We'll say random strings dot generate random string 32 and JTI comma error is equal to. If error is not equal to nil, we want to return JTI comma error. And at the end, you want to say refresh tokens JTI is equal to valid and return JTI comma error. Awesome. Now you want to delete the refresh token. So this function takes again JTI, which is a string. To delete the refresh token function, you want to pass the refresh tokens the map, and you want to pass the ID, the unique ID, which is stored in JTI, and it will delete that particular refresh token from this map. And check refresh tokens, again, it's quite straightforward. You'll have JTI, which will be a string, and returns a boolean true or false. Return refresh token, sorry, not check refresh token, it will just refresh tokens JTI or equal to. So we're just checking if it's not equal to an empty string. So that was it with all our database level functions. Everything looks quite sorted. And now you want to switch your focus back to the myjwt.go file, where we were working on the check and refresh tokens function. Now in the check and refresh tokens function, we had checked if the auth token was valid, and then we did something about it. But let's say if it's not valid, right? The reason for it to not be valid could be that the auth token is probably expired, or it's just not valid, right? Or it has a validation error. So what we want to do is I want to take this variable called VE and check with OK as well. And you want to see jwt dot validation error log dot println auth token is not valid. If ve dot errors ampersand jwt dot validation error expired not equal to 0, then you wanna println so you want to check for expired, right? So like I said, there are two reasons. One it could have a validation error, the dot token is not valid. The other could be that the validation error could be around expiry. So you want to check if the auth token is expired or not, right? So in this case, it could be expired. Now, if the auth token is expired, what you want to do is you want to update auth token string. So update auth token string, and it's this function that we have not worked on yet. Okay. So coming back here, you want to pass old refresh token string to it and old auth token string to it, and what you get back is new auth token string, new Csrf secret, and error. Then again you want to check for if error is not equal to nil. You just want to return from it. And you would want to update the expiry for the refresh token by passing the old refresh token string. The old refresh token, you'll pass that and you'll update its expiry, and you will get new refresh token string with the updated expiry limit. Again, we'll check for the error here. So if error is not equal to nil, we'll return again from here. And lastly, one of the last things you want to do is you want to check for update refresh token CSRF. In this function, you'll pass new refresh. Now, we have not worked on these functions yet, but we will very soon, right? After this, we'll just work on these functions only. So we'll have new CSRF secret. These are the two things that you want to pass here. And what you get back is new refresh token string, comma the error, and you want to return from this function. Now after return, you will have an little else loop here out here. So for this if, you want to put an else. So you'll say else log dot println error in auth token, and error is equal to errors dot new error in auth token. And after that, you will just return from this function. And for this if, the outside if, this one, or the else if, you will have another else. So we'll say else log dot println error in auth token, and again errors dot new error in auth token. Okay, so it could be not valid or expired, but if it's not falling into those conditions, you're saying after else that there's an error in the auth token itself, and you can't do anything about it. It's not a validation error, it's not an expiry error. Okay, and you return it. So all of these conditions that I'm checking for, all of the extra work, all of this boilerplate that I'm writing, it's completely optional, but I'm just showing you the best practices, the best way to handle all of these different things, to have so many functions to, make sure the system is as secure as possible. That's what I've done. I mean, I can take it 5x more. I can have like a lot more security built in, but that will start beating the purpose, because there is no limit to how much you can over engineer something, right? There is no limit. So I'm just trying kind of drawing a line in the sand that these are the kind of checks I'll have, this is the kind of security I'll have, but I can go beyond. Trust me, I can go beyond, but I don't want to because you can keep over engineering something, right? I mean, in the real world, I would say this much is enough. You don't need to go ahead of this unless you're with a fintech kind of a product or solution, and there you need extra security. I can understand that, but in other projects, please don't go beyond this. Whatever I'm showing, that should be like your final line as well. Don't go beyond this. Don't try to over engineer above this, right? I'm speaking from experience. You'll end up writing too much code and nobody will understand it, and you won't actually get anything done, because this will ensure that your system is quite secure in 90% of the cases. Okay. And if error is equal to errors.new, and you'll say unauthorized, and you want to return from this function. So that's it. That's all I want to cover in this video. In the next video, we'll work on these functions that are now giving us squiggly lines, because we have not defined those functions, right? So we'll work on those functions. So thanks a lot for watching, and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because you'll get such awesome content, right? Which is really high quality content, which you don't get anywhere on YouTube. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.